And in the second episode, you are given an interesting experience of riding the train through the main character's perspective. With a view like this, you can see more of what's happening outside the village. And this kind of scenery naturally draws your eyes toward the background, creating a sense of depth and encouraging you to explore the entire scene. Even here, you might not realize that you're instinctively trying to see what the character is looking at outside the train window. An interesting thing you'll find that's still related to framing and deep composition is showing in this scene. When the character looks out the window and realizes something is wrong with their train. This interesting framing is called voyeuristic anticipation framing. A more specific example of voyeuristic anticipation framing can be seen in the following scene. When the train enters a foggy area and the atmosphere turns eerie. This scene isn't considered voyeuristic anticipation framing yet. And this is the scene that can be called voyeuristic anticipation framing, where you and the characters are peeking through the windows, anticipating what will happen next. It's actually Mr. Duck emerges from the fog. Instead of using close-ups or specific angles to highlight the character, the director repeatedly presents the plot story through this perspective. By using wide shots and diagonal composition, it creates a spatial contrast between the two characters in the frame. Because from the start, this diagonal composition isn't just for presenting the plot story. It's actually meant to reinforce the theme of the train itself. Train spotters, or loco hunters, often use this composition to create a sense of melancholy and romance as a train enters the frame and growing larger as it approaches the camera. Even from this perspective, when the train starts moving away, it creates a reverse emotional effect. Because as the train gets smaller and smaller, it creates a feeling of loss or departure. The most satisfying moment for fantasy train enthusiasts is when they enter the next scene. That's when they enter the twist, when some of them suggested returning to the village to prepare supplies. But as they tried to head back, the previous railway track had already sunk even deeper. In this stylized establishing shot, the scene visualizes what's happening to the train, drawing the audience into a surreal realm where the train feels lost in a vast open river. Even the triangular composition here creates a strong emotional perspective for Akira, who takes the hammer from Shizuru to communicate in Morse code to Zenjiro. It gives a sense of hierarchy, where Akira, who seemed weak before, is now in control, shifting the dynamic from Rimi, who had previously underestimated her. Although, there's something off about the train track in this scene. When the water recedes, pulled back by the tsunami wave, this scene truly creates a heart-pounding sense of experience. And what's even more thrilling is when you buy a shirt from my TeePublic store. Because I designed it myself. So, check out the link in the description. And that's the scene that appears at the very end of episode 2, where they ultimately have no choice but to continue their journey.